welcome all. Glad you're here. My name's Kieran Diorio. I'm on the admissions team here at IPEC. I've got a special guest in Don Whittle. Let's start at the beginning. I talk to a lot of folks all the time, and some folks are very, very tuned to the ICF. Some folks haven't really heard much about it, don't know too much about it. Would you share maybe some reasons in the why? Why would someone pursue membership with ICF and maybe their local chapter?
Yeah, so one of the real pillars that ICF rests on, if you will, is this whole notion of community and professional development that comes from the community, and this real sense of networking. And what's happened over the past year with COVID is there's been a lot of pivoting to meetings like this on Zoom. And so the community element is still in place, although it's being done not in person. And hopefully it will get to that place where everyone will be together again.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, please, God, let's get through this.
Can't wait.
Yeah, and hopefully, whenever that point in time is going to be, that people will be back together again at conferences and at, like you said, chapters, where we have 145 chapters in maybe 50 something countries around the world. So there's a lot of gatherings of members of ICF and people wanting that rich development and what's happening in the profession and how they can become better coaches and really take coaching to the next level in terms of their client base and who they're working with. So thanks for that question. I think it's a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also got a ton of questions. We got one coming here about the different levels of the credentials and what they might mean. Would you share a little bit about that?
So, excuse me. Yes, so we have a credentialing program with 3 different credentials. The first being the associate level, which is kind of the baseline for entering into the profession. It requires just a minimal number of coach training hours, coaching experience hours with clients, and depending on where you went to school or where you're going to go to pursue coach training, there's a threshold for a number of hours and such. I will say this because I am on IPEC's platform here. IPEC is one of many coach training schools that ICF accredits. However, I do know that your reputation is stellar out in the coaching world. Everyone is very impressed with the offerings that IPEC has. And so if you did complete an IPEC program, whether partially or in its entirety, you would be able to come through in a real turnkey manner for an associate level credential. The second level of credentialing is professional certification, professional certified coach, PCC. And that is for coaches who have a little bit more experience with clients. There's a higher threshold for coach training hours as well as client hours. And then our third credential, which is the highest level, is the MCC, which is the Master Certified Coach. And that requires a number of hours, over 2,000 hours of coach-specific training and clients. I'm sorry, did I say 200? I meant 200 hours of coaching hours, 2,000 plus hours of coaching experience with clients. And there's some other requirements in there as well about performance evaluations and mentoring and things of that nature. And we also have for all 3 levels, a coach knowledge assessment, which is an online examination of, I'm going to misquote this. I want to say 170 questions. I think it's 150 questions, 150 questions or 155 questions, and you have to score 70 or higher to receive a passing grade on that. And that's the last step in the credentialing process before you receive your credential. I also want to say one more thing. We do have, for the first time, this has been in place just about a year, and that is a digital credential that you can accept that's provided by Credential, which is a really great company that we work with. We also have a membership digital badge for those who are ICF members, and you can accept those and put it on your use it in your social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., on your website and email signature. And we're really excited about that. It's really showing a lot of credibility of our coaches, and that they've actually been trained, gone through a really rigorous process, such as IPEC offers in terms of their coach training, for example. And I think it's going a long way to really our members and credential holders stand out from those who call themselves coaches, but don't have any formal training or any credential to back that up.
Very good. Yeah, there are a lot of levels there. I'm working on the granddaddy, of them all, the MCC.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
yeah, it takes a while to build those hours for sure. Yeah, we do have a question. Let's see here, asking about differentials in the training credentials. Are they different for coaches with different specializations? So Dawn, maybe you could talk about the credential piece as it might relate to different specialties.
So the credential as it stands the credentials as they stand right now are more generic, if you will, in terms of, so there's a 3-part test, if you will. Any of the training has to meet the ICF core competencies and code of ethics, and has to meet the ICF definition of coaching. But we don't have any specialty credentials yet in terms of an executive coaching credential for ACC or PCC or MCC. I think that's down the road with any micro credentials, and I hope I didn't go offline here with this. So I'm going to stop there and see if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. I think about that track. You guys assess the ethics, you assess coaching presence. It's been a while since I took the coaching knowledge assessment, but very much applicable to any stack, any specialty, any niche in terms of credentials. Those are going to apply to wherever someone might go. Let me address the training piece. I can only speak for IPEC. For folks that go down the IPEC training track, you'll hear us come right out and say, we train you to coach anyone at any time on any topic, because we really focus on coaching at the core, core energy, to use some IPEC terminology. And those are the skills that are going to go into any niche or specialty that a student wants to take them. We frost that cake, if you will, with specialty training from there. So very, very solid, very, very versatile and portable core with the specialty training that goes on top of that. So thanks for your question. Got another one coming in here, Dawn. This one talks about, and I get this a lot, folks who have been coaching for a while, and now they're maybe just looking at getting some additional training or training for the first time. And they say, hey, can I count the hours that I've already coached folks? Would you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for raising it. I don't want to say no, but our rules, the policy, if you will, the way it's written is you have to have started the coach specific training that you're going to use for the credential. So for example, if you started with IPEC a year ago, you could start counting your coaching hours from that date forward. And there's the rationale behind it is because what happened before that may have been your version of coaching, and I'm not dismissing it in any way, shape, or form, but if it came before the training you completed that we recognize as training that meets our standards, it could be a little different in terms of what you're delivering for coach specific, coaching experience hours. And that's why that line in the sand, so to speak, has been drawn, that's when you can actually count your coaching experience hours, only after you've started that process with the coach training program that we recognize.
Okay.
Or credit.
Yeah. So think stake in the ground is at the start of one's training, a general guideline. I know there's a lot more detail on the ICF website. Okay. We got another question coming in here. So I graduated from IPEC 3 years ago. Can I count all coaching hours since that time? Let's see here. We might need a little more detail there. I don't know what that there might be. Yes, in some cases, there might be some other factors that come into play. Any thoughts there, Don?
So yeah, I'm going to say in general, yes. I know there's a stipulation on the credentialing requirements that they want to make sure that some of the coaching hours or a percentage of the coaching hours have happened in the last, 6 months. I'm just using this as a baseline. I'm pretty sure it's close to that, just to make sure you've continued coaching all the way through, if you will, from when you started that training and captured those coach training hours.
Yeah, so we
coaching
have
experience hours. I'm gonna get that right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Client
we have
hours. Yes.
Yep. So there's a start date in terms of training that tracks, and then there's the issue of currency that, and I think it's pretty specific on the website too in terms of how we calculate that. Okay. Yeah. Here's one here. What counts? So this to me, when we look at what counts on the log, it goes to paid coaching hours, but there are some shades of paid, right? So would you share a little bit there?
So in terms of the shades of paid, obviously we're looking for paid coaching hours. We also count bartered hours. So if you've in a bartering relationship with someone where they're providing you're providing them coaching services, and in exchange they're giving you something of value, those can count as well. Matter of fact, we have a peer coaching program. It's a third-party vendor who runs it, that is engaged in those relationships and setting them up. And there's also a pro bono element as well, that the percentage of your hours can be done on a pro bono basis, but it's restricted in terms of the actual credential and how many specific hours that you can count for that. But yes.
Okay. So yeah, some things to think about there, and different ways to build that coaching log, and build that experience, of course. Okay. Yeah. Here's one near and dear to me. I understand there are local ICF chapters. What is the benefit of joining? Would you start, Ben? I'll add some flavor there.
Yeah, and so we want you to get connected with like-minded peers, and I know people gravitate toward each other, who are coaches gravitate together. It's a real, I'm going to say, a tribe that's global in nature, very like-minded people, and I think the chapter is a place to experience that. I like to say what we're really trying to get out of chapters, and they do this in a really profound way, and that is creating some kind of unique, memorable experience at the chapter for you, whether it's in a presentation or whatever is going on there. That's the hopeful outcome that we desire at ICF from our chapters. And there's just a lot of great chances to meet, come together, collaborate, work on, so a lot of chapters have outside projects that they work on. And again, there's a lot of pro bono coaching that comes from that, those outreaches as well, community-based, if you will, and some with even social impact in terms of what they're doing. So there's a lot of room to come into chapters, participate, and really enjoy the experience,
Mhm.
and receive continuing education units, which you can
Yeah.
apply toward your credential renewal.
Yeah, yeah, great point. I think about the programming my local chapter does, Pittsburgh ICF. Some terrific stuff. It really helps. It's helped me stay current. And in terms of the outreach, we deliver coaching to a lot of organizations that may not normally get it, and really serve our community, and really serve those clients that way. And just something that's coming up for me as you're talking about that sense of community. I remember going through my modules at IPEC, and you were with the group for 3 straight days, 3 times, and build some friendships, and a great thing to leverage and really get into. And then I remember missing that, and I joined my local chapter, and I was like, oh, I hope these guys are really coachy types as well, and they really are. Like the Cheerios in the milk bowl, coming together, like you said, and just getting the perspective, folks that go to different schools and folks that do different types of coaching, and boy, I've sprung some business opportunities and things like that, and received and given a lot of support. So the local experience is a wonderful component of the whole ICF play, for sure, for sure. Yeah. All right, another question here for you. I like this one. What is the real life impact of certification for me as a coach?
So that's a great question. I'd like to think that certification is going to provide you credibility in the marketplace, no matter where you're going to take the coaching that you have in your credential. Whatever area of coaching you may work in, or whether you're just going to use it as a skill set in the company you work at right now. I think there's a lot of different ways you can use that coaching, but the credentialing piece goes a long way to saying, hey, I'm a bona fide member of this community, and I've gone through a rigorous process, um, and completed it, and have this document or this certificate or this digital badge to prove that I am at this particular level of coaching certification or coaching credentialing. So I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, agreed. I think about what going to a certified program means, and what their credentials share about us as a coach, and it does share the degree of professionalism and depth of training. I'll speak for myself. Some of the opportunities that I've pursued and engaged in. I won't judge this as right or wrong, but I don't make the spreadsheet if I'm not coming from an ICF trained background. So it does have some cachet, if you will, out in the marketplace for sure.
No question. And I would say one more thing just to tag on to that. I think there's more and more businesses and end users of coaching who are asking if the coach they're going to hire or interviewing to hire has an ICF credential, which is coming back from 14 years ago. That question wasn't asked. Today, yes, it's a common question.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Another question here. Let's see. Okay. What's your take on future regulation of the business of coaching?
I'm not going to touch that. I can't say. I will say ICF's position is we're neither for nor against it. We're being neutral. Obviously, we're involved in any particular states or even countries where it looks like regulation is coming to bear, where we try to protect the profession, because a lot of times the laws may impact our coaches in a negative way, where they're trying to dismiss coaching and only have, coaching defined as this, which is different from our version of coaching. But in terms of regulation, I do not know where that's going to go, quite frankly.
Yeah, agreed. Sounds like to be continued or to be determined. Okay. Yeah, it comes up quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We have another one here. What does the testing process look like? That my mind goes to the coach knowledge assessment.
So the testing process that we currently have is an online examination. I'm almost positive it's 155 questions, multiple choice questions, all on the core competencies of ICF and code of ethics and definition of coaching. And you have to have a 70% or higher pass rate to get by, but it's the standard test right now that we have for the profession. Having said that, are things changing? Are we going to change the test a little bit? Because we do have a new set of competencies with very slight changes from the prior competencies. More than likely that's coming. I can't say more about it because I'm not from the credentialing side of the house, but yeah, things are changing there, but for the better.
Yeah. Sounds like an evolution's in play here. Okay. Thank you. All right, another one here. How do coaches get clients? And what percentage of coaches do one-on-one coaching versus group coaching versus workshops? Do you guys keep any stats on that?
So I don't think so. We do. So we had a 2020 global coaching study that examined a lot of different things that coaches around the world do, and we cut it by region and states and provinces and countries to get a feel for what was out there. And we did a lot about what the average coach earned per hour. I think in the US it was $232, and it was down a little bit because 4 years before that it was maybe $10 an hour higher on average. So we do look into that. I don't think, answering your question specifically, I'm not sure if I'm going to have that data or I can access any data like that. I will say this. We at ICF do a lot of research, and we use PricewaterhouseCoopers to create our studies that are global in nature. They do a fantastic job. Global coaching studies, consumer awareness studies. There's just really depth and breadth to what's happening in the coaching industry on a global basis. And it's a real member benefit to have these studies.
Yeah, I think coaching is it's wide open. There's so many ways to do it, so many ways to deliver it. And just want to honor this question because we're kind of running up on time. Think about joining us for our next office hours. We can get into how coaches get clients a little bit more. There's everything from the old-fashioned ways, the organic networking methods, to all the digital methods, and really everything in between. There are opportunities in working in a subcontract way. There are internal coaches, there are contract coaches, and there are people that build their own practices in a variety of ways too. So many choices. That might be something we'll hit in next week's office hours. And we do have another question here. Let's just take a last minute here to address it. Among coaches that have credentials, how do clients differentiate the qualities?
So that's a great question. That's certainly up to the actual client that's hiring the particular coach. I don't want to, each credential is important in and of itself. just because you're an ACC coach doesn't mean you're not you can't coach at a higher level, or you're not this great coach, because a lot of people will say, I only want one credential, that's enough, I'm not going to aspire for another level. I will say there are great coaches out there at ICF, and I would encourage you to take a look and see what's out there. Come to our website, coachingfederation.org. And I'm going to plug IPEC again. Fantastic coach training program. Really, really well respected, not only at ICF, but globally. I know that for a fact because I communicate with all the new members worldwide. So I can't say enough about them. And I hope that that helped in terms of answering your question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to echo that point, I think coaching, it's such a personal choice, right? And when you're with the right person, you kind of know, and whether that's through discovery call or marketing information or conversation or whatever, referral, whatever that might be, and that can be as telling as anything else. Okay. Well, hey, we are wrapping it up here. Let me take care of a little bit of housekeeping as we bring this whole thing down. Don, that website one more time for the ICF.
coachingfederation.org. One word,
Okay.
Coaching Federation.
Got it. And then Zach has put our information here at IPEC on the chat as well. If you'd like to reach out to us, there's a link there. You can use to schedule time with anyone in the missions team, and we're happy to answer your questions beyond and moving forward. And then, hey, our upcoming next coach office hours will be Tuesday, May 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, that's Tuesday, May 18th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Same time, same channel, I guess. And then this will be recorded. So if you want to tap into it later, or you didn't get a chance to check it out, feel free to view that recording down the road. And that is about it, Don.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks all for joining us. Thank you once again, Don. And everyone have a great day. Thanks.